But yes, thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. These are three free ways you can always show your support here at the You Will Make It TV channel. Thank you. We are into new content video, fire insightful topics, fire relatable stories here at You Will Make It TV. And what better time do we need to hear more stories that help us. I'm not gonna say find ourselves, but that's been a problem the whole time. Like people actually go through relatable things. Like you stomp your toe. I've stomped my toe before. I just didn't do it the same day you did. You see, I didn't do it in the same state or city you did. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Arthur, podcaster and poet, Miss TETASHERI Whitney. I'm coming back with more commentary and reaction on real stories and situations and circumstances out here that get the best of any of us. So, why are they more common? Why are they more frequent? Why is it the same type of stories? Because when I say relatable, that doesn't mean it's always a positive relation, as we all know. But maybe somebody could have went through something more unfortunate, and you've been through that too. Or even the side of just being accused of being such, being accused of being a boy, but you're a girl, being accused of being tall, but you're short, that type of stuff. Uh, many of us can relate to it. That's all I was saying. So, as with this story with the brother, Mr. Pastor McNutt, because I think I'm a good reactionist for this story because I'm first and foremost, I know I have to talk with a certain type of dignity. No matter what I feel, I have to know what's right. And when people are actually, in my belief, of the faith or say they're working in some kind of ministry or industry or work for God, and they display this publicly, that's another thing. Because when you have a public church, a public ministry, a public online service, you're now public. No wonder some of these businesses choose to be private. Not that that's always a good thing, but you do have that option. Some people have private security, private things that they attend to because wow, uh private doesn't mean more safe for the people that might be behind the scenes of the privacy. Okay? Actually, now it's looking like privacy, they trying to turn people mentality to look at privacy as a threat. Privacy was always your best friend. We can't suddenly make privacy seem like a threat in society. Um, because what church was ever private? Most times you can just walk through the front door, and that's how churches are. I was saying the opposite was those places that's always been private, secret, only members only stuff. There's churches that even if you don't become a member, they don't care about you coming and joining services sometimes, sitting in maybe for 20 minutes, stay for the whole service. That's the thing. They've always been public, like public places. So anything that happened in there, like you never know who coming to church next week. A lot of people only go on Easter or Christmas. Uh, that's just how it is. They feel like they go on those holidays, they give their reverences, and some don't even stay the whole day, the whole service on those days. Thank you guys for tuning in. But it's always been more public. So what happens in there, what happens outside of it, what happens outside of it, always that does make me wonder because if you come and gather at any type of fellowship, you didn't see anybody lead the Super Bowl and they're all concerned about what each other is doing after the Super Bowl. Do you know how many people come to a game like that? All the people that come there don't even know each other. But they're all coming for one common goal and purpose, and that's to watch the Super Bowl game. I guarantee you, they can come and think people are coming to see them. No, they're not. They're coming to watch the field. They're coming to watch the players. But you can't help that there's going to be a congregation, a gathering around you. That's what you call public. Period. When you're at home, you're supposed to have some kind of control over that. No, I don't want you in my home. Yes, I want you in my home. No, I don't want this in my home or that in my home. Period. Privacy is never a threat. It was always a man's best friend, not dogs. Not dogs. But dogs are friendly too, you know? Why are we bashing friendship so much? And you definitely don't need the leaders and people like that doing it because they look up to you. People look up to you. You know what I'm saying? But let me give people some encouragement from my point of view. You can look up to people, but you never look up to anybody higher. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking up to them on a higher pedestal than God Himself. Like how good are you expecting people to be to you when the Bible said God is good? It didn't say only God is good. It actually said everything He created was good too. That's the thing about it. But they do say God is good. So they didn't. It wasn't just like a territorial thing where nobody else is good. There's still good in the world. I still believe that. What are we doing with the good is the question. What are people doing with the good is the question. I know I said we, but then I said people. So I guess it came out like it was supposed to. What are we doing with the good things of the world? Or maybe people just don't want to believe God is good, but they want to believe the earth and everything they think it is right now is good. What is our definition of good anymore? People got to come out publicly and defend themselves. What is going on? Because this man did. I don't know this brother personally, but he chose to come out publicly and maybe speak. It probably just wasn't for his congregation members and followers and supporters. It was also, I'm sure, for because even if you're a pastor, you still have family. You still have people that know you other ways. People act like you be trying to change brand new. One thing about it, once they knew you, they know your ass forevermore, even if they don't see you no more. Let's all be honest. Like you knew that person from before they was a pastor, from before they was a whatever they do now. Like you act like that. Where do people get that idea? Like this person changed, so I should be able to look up for them. And if I see they not worthy for me to look up for them, I'm gonna make sure I expose it. That's a personal problem. Why are you looking at that person on the pedestal like they God, like they shouldn't make any mistakes anyway? Not that I'm defending people who choose to do what they want to do that we don't all agree with. You shouldn't have been looking up to them anyway. Is that person God or a God in any shape, way, or form? Why are you looking up to them? If you come to listen to inspiration at a church setting, that's what that is. You came to fellowship. You came to look. I mean, why are you you can only look up to people so much. You're gonna fail yourself doing it for no reason. And getting all worked up and disappointed because you find out somebody like a priest or a pastor or a teacher or counselor, just people with certain professional guys, that in one field of work, they've already legally changed it to where it's no longer considered a professional career. Let me think of what career field it is. Is it nursing? Yeah, a lot of people been talking about that too. Now, y'all think everybody going to these protests? Y'all think everybody going to these protests just about ICE and immigration? No, people have different issues all at the same time these days. Everybody's issues are just a little different. Uh, but no, there's been people out there about those kind of things too. It said there were some schools already declining business with companies like the photography companies that come in with the kids and take pictures every year. They're already declining them coming in this year based off the Epstein file. So I applaud that because change has to start somewhere, but change starts after, I guess it's always been like that in history. Um, I don't know. Life is interesting, guys, but I'm back here to speak up about this because, like, church environments can be, uh, they've been one of those things that's been judged for a long time too. Because back in the day, people would say, how could you have a church back then, but you had slaves at home? Some people still have that mentality today, but they're what we're saying, we do notice that some of them are just maybe criticizing. They're going to criticize the church no matter what. But that is a valid point to some people. How can you be telling people to love their neighbor and stuff and preaching hell and brimstone fire and telling them to love their brother and forgive people, but they would go home after those services and have slaves at home. Whole slaves they bought like products. Some people don't understand it. So now, even in modern day times, while people be like, and shout out to Black History Month celebrators this month as well, because people will disrespectfully say something like, "Oh, forget about it. It happened a long time ago." It's disrespectful, no matter what race you are, to say something like that after people went through something like that, because a lot of those plantation owners sometimes were pastors too, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm not here to defend the brother that's been hung on the cross here for whatever he's been doing. And what's interesting about this story, why it's viral right now, is it's one of those stories where the child actually called for help. And I want to give my commentary a little bit about it, my reaction, because it's probably true. Number one. Number two, what gets so bad that, you know what I'm saying? If you a pastor, you even work with other people. How you don't have time for your own child? We're not even talking about the allegations yet. Once again, going back to these careers that somehow seemingly still take more than just you clocking in. It's taking more from you at home because that's time away from home that you could have gave your child what you needed. You could have been that listening ear for your child. You could have tried to work that out for your child, right? Like, and this man's son is supposedly like 16, so he's very well at that age, probably mentally aware, definitely tapped more into his emotions himself, already going through a lot as a teen. But you want kids to have people that they can call and that support them. Pastors, ministers, evangelists, they have been known to be supportive, right? And trusted, guided counselors, just like coaches, teachers, uh, anything professional. Now, they already made an example out of one profession, and that's nursing. As far as the FAFSA application with federal grant funding for school, they are not distributing money for that anymore because it's not going to be considered a professional degree. For you guys that didn't know that, feel free to go Google that yourselves. It's been a lot happening, changes in the news, in the in actual law, you know, they're not saying that those guys won't still be considered professionals when they're at work, when they become nurses. What it's really saying is you now have to pay to become nurses. You got to pay for school yourself. This just the first career field they're starting with. I do see this probably leaking over into other career fields because how far are people going with their professional credentials? And you don't need to, this crazy as far as being a pastor, you don't even need professional papers. Like what? I mean, some people do go to theology school, they go to biblical colleges, ministry camps, and everything to earn the seats that they do. I don't know. Every church's rules are probably different when it comes to who sits in the seat next when the pastor is no longer doing that. Now, me personally, I just feel like that's something that people should let God lead if they feel like it's real. Like, how you just gonna choose over and over and over. And we know how it is tradition. Nothing wrong with that. But I just believe God is real when it comes to what people call religion and stuff. And even if you try to choose a person, a place, a thing to replace what he would rather see sitting, like what's the point of you planning goals and plans for who's going to sit in a seat next in the choir, in the music industry, in the church, in the usher, like who gonna be doing it? Because it's not always promised. Like, hey, you children are gonna grow up. and you're going to take over what dad does. You're going to be the pastor's son. Because with this story, this is his stepson. And sometimes stepchildren, as we know, grow up in the house with their step parent. So that still doesn't mean they're going to follow the steps of that step parent. In my opinion, step parents shouldn't be trying to force you to on any level. Like, it no matter how you raise that child, while that child is over there with you, the step parent and the other parent, they real parent, that child can still have the legal right to choose their own path and way in life, uh, even if it's not what the step parent and the new spouse wants. Like, what is so hard? And because people are not able to, let's say, perceive this on a mass level just yet, that's why they just going ahead and considering one world order where we all have one religion. We all wear the same thing. We all eat the same. Like, because having financial classes doesn't seem to be working for people. Because you can put all that time in and be celebrated for working hard and making thousands upon millions of dollars to take care of your family. But what do you be missing with your family while you putting all that time in away, you know what I'm saying, to accumulate that uh successful life? That's why some people plan their lives. They don't even choose to have kids. See, a pastor, that might be a position that you didn't even plan for. A chaplain, a priest, most times you probably recommended for something like that, or you can be chosen too just by being a part of it at some point. Like, hey, we remember that person when they was a kid. Why don't we get that person up here to take over this now that Pastor Jack passed away or Pastor Jack is sick? Who do we have to come in and still lead the people and pray with the people and take up offering and everything while this person is out? That's not a game. You can try to place the replacement there that you would like. This is just the truth for anybody. When God is involved, though, it's gonna at the end of the day, it's gonna be who He chooses to sit there. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to like try to force your child or grandchild, or I just don't think that's working out for society. It probably never has. In the Bible, it didn't. That's why there's stories there that prove uh people would do all kind of crazy things back then too to switch the birthrights, like just to steal the inheritance of other households. They would switch the twins, like, oh, okay, this woman had twins, let's switch her twins with these twins, and now we own their inheritance. These type of things go back to the Bible days. Them setting people up, getting them drunk, sending harlots, like at the man, what was his name, Samson, who was known for the strength in his locks and his hair. People didn't know that about him. He ended up setting himself up, telling people his strength. They was already harassing him, trying to find out what it was. Now, as the Bible is written, they meant he had a gift of physical strength. But I believe strength is real, emotionally, mentally, other ways, not just physically. You can have a strong heart, just ask the doctors. You can have a strong mind, just ask the therapist. So strength does not just have to mean your physical muscles, legs, arms, hands, neck, back, okay? The Bible said this man though was known for his physical strength. There's people today known for that. They're called bodybuilders. But his wasn't bodybuilding nothing. The whole town said it was a gift. They knew it was a gift. He could he just had super strength. What's fantasy about that story? It sounds real to me. You believe in bodybuilders and wrestlers and boxers. This man, they said, could fight 20 wolves by himself. I don't know. That seems to be a huge accomplishment. Have you ever fought one wolf? Not a dog, not a sheep, a wolf. And wolves back then in the Bible days, they probably were bigger, crazier looking. So yeah, he was just known to do stuff like that. Like, he in the woods, somebody happened to stop by and see it. Like, man, Samson just whooped 20 wolves by himself. Took the jawbone of a whatever kind of animal they said, a bear. He was just known to do super things with his strength. So why wouldn't he be a very sought after man? Even if he wasn't the smartest, even if he had flaws, people reverenced him as some kind of king just because of what he could do with his strength. So it didn't matter the attention, the influence, the money. I'm sure anything you want when you got super strength like that, you're going to get it. Because all you got to do is sign up for a local fight and you know your gift is strength. You know you're going to whoop everybody in there. So you just put money bet on the table. A person like that could never be broke. So we know this man wasn't hurting for money. He wasn't hurting for food. He wasn't hurting for anything. And them kind of people, it's hard to offer them everything if they see that they have everything. Okay, he might didn't have money, but you got a gift that if you go out there and fight, Samson gonna win every fight. He was fighting animals, bears. People, some even mocked him. They thought it was strange that for one man to have such strength. So they sent in a lady. I don't think this was Jezebel. Was this? No, this wasn't Jezebel. This was Delilah. They sent her in as bait. Like, we need somebody sexy looking. We got to pick one of our best women because we trying to get a really good secret out of this man. A man of God now. Because y'all know this man they talking about right here is a whole pastor. Everybody knows if they read their Bible, Samson fell for that woman. Yeah, he had sex with her. Yeah, he went on dates. Yeah, he started sharing money with her and telling her his secrets on his pillow in the late night hours. And finally, one night she asked, "What is the secret to your strength?" No, she asked a lot of times, but he finally told her. That's what was crazy. She had been asking many nights that same question. He just happy to have a friend in his face, one of the most beautiful women in town. Back to illusions and how we trying to look and what and feeding our own egos, thinking it's making us look what. Okay, because I'm sure it was humiliating to Samson too to get woke up being arrested by guards because this same beautiful woman really came with whole other intentions. This woman you're proudly parading around town and homeboys giving you high fives and she's even letting you do whatever to her, but she came for a mission. All he know, he finally told her the secret of his strength, which was his hair. He woke up, his hair was cut off, and guards were arresting him. Because maybe they felt like nobody should be walking around town. They just needed the perfect setup. Walking, and we see this time and time again with Bible stories. So, uh, when they change laws and stuff, not even priests, pastors, none of this is exempt from persecution. So back to this part. If your kid have to run and call these agencies and program, first of all, that would mean your kid is pretty resourceful. Like all mine know, my even my toddler, she finna know how to call 911. She know what if you say the word police, she know what that is. She know what a police car is. She know what a fire truck is. But if you say, I'm sorry, I was saying if you say police, but calling them, she don't know how to do that yet. Like I know it's just three numbers, but everybody should teach their kids, more. Maybe keep a packet, a pamphlet these days, pamphlet books. Maybe I'll create them, and you give them to your kids. And in case of an emergency, they would have every phone number. Y'all buy y'all kids cell phones anyway. I know it's easier just to leave those contact numbers in the cell phones, but what if we did have those little mini compatible books where it's already made for the kid and they got a phone number in there for everything in case of an emergency? Not just family members, but little agencies, organizations, and stuff like this they can trust. Because why wouldn't you feel betrayed when your kid calls CPS behind your whole back? Why couldn't they talk to you about whatever it was? So yeah, people would automatically suspect that it was something serious. It might be something serious with the mom, the dad. Kids don't just call to get help for themselves. I'm sure they be caring about their other parents too and family members. They be expecting on a phone call. You know, you just got to be specialized and trained to talk to kids too. If there could be something going on, because you can more scare them off or scare them into changing a story. Like, how are you asking them? How are you talking to them? And that's why it's good. A lot of these interviews are recorded too, because it's like, how are the interviewers coming off at the kids? Anyways, why are parents so busy working and trying to keep up with bills and getting rich and chasing their dreams that they are missing things? Like even in the church, like, oh, we didn't know Sister Jack Frost was going through that. You didn't know Sister Jack Frost was going through that. She went to your church for 10 years, and it just make people wonder because if they're donating and giving offerings and contributing to this, just like any other business, they expect a certain return. They expect to be treated a certain way. They expect to actually get answers when they have questions. They expect to get prayer. Like, why else do people come to church? So God is killing that stigma of, I don't know, I guess people said they knew already, but they knew sometimes that the pastors' lives are not perfect at home. They claim to have known this already. Pastors with an S. Because sometimes it's not even the kid being abused or one of the kids, or it's not even the pastor doing it. It's somebody close to the pastor doing it. You mean to tell me as pastors they got to cut everybody off just to fully serve their work in the Lord? Because why would somebody in that position of work experience things that the same position of work as somebody that's actually into that life? Something's not right there. But you done cut that life off. You done let it go. You a pastor now, but that life still stalking you, following you, getting moving close and lurking to you. Like, what kind of stuff is that? So God is showing it through some of these stories. The kids ain't waiting and listening. I mean, because you know, if they had enough people around them, and look, they have a lavish lifestyle. That man came on camera and said it. He said they get everything they want. Woo, woo, woo. They're very much provided for. And you know he ain't lying. They stay sharing pictures on social media, like how he keep them dressed, how they go to school, whatever they got going on. Because people swore it was just only the struggle that leads to certain type of crimes happening to people, even when they're minors. You can be in a lavish lifestyle and people still uh, inappropriately looking at kids or desiring kids and stuff like that. You can have your bills paid on time every month. It's just that a person that don't is more vulnerable to those falling into those type of traps or manipulations. If you don't stay focused on getting a better life, you know what happens? You end up stuck in the one that you have. You end up stuck in the one that I guess was forced upon you because when you're children, it's forced upon you. Just like this young man. His dad is a pastor, so you know they probably make him go to church every Sunday. He's only 16 years old. He probably not choosing or really don't want to do that. He looked like one of those pastors though that he's not budging on what his son want until he's an adult. He has to go to church if he's going to be in his house. They don't know what being the child of a pastor or something like that is like. They get very rebellious anyway because they start to feel like you're trying to force them into a certain lifestyle when really maybe that is a more positive lifestyle to show your child. But how many people, kids, come out of church and literally stay walking with God? It's actually very rare. It's sad. All the people, that's why most of the people at church be like elderly. People want to wait to that age. Like, yeah, God is real. God is good. I'm the only reason he's still here. It shouldn't take you waiting to that age. But yeah, they just end up, like I said, we get busy. We get in college. We get these jobs. We get these employment opportunities, whatever we doing out here. And what? Forget about God? Forget about our families? Forget about our kids? Cause like if that kind of stuff, I don't know, or more pastors should talk about it. Like no, or have pastors been trying to hide that? You want to make it like your life is perfect behind the pulpit at home? We all knew always that that's not true. They go through their life sufferings, judgments, accusations, just like everybody else. And oh, God forbid they sin or they sin in front of everybody, and you're a pastor or a minister. Don't let them do that. They really gonna put that in the headline front news. But like I said, I wonder how every church do it, cause it like how do they go about choosing who is the next first lady, the next senior, the next leader of the choir, the next, cause you know that next season does come for everybody. Who's gonna be the next shareholder, the next who's gonna be over this and that. So yeah, it has to be talked about if you're gonna force a person into that lifestyle. You say you're doing what the Bible tell you to do. You raising your kids in church, but once they get older, yeah, you just can't try to enforce what they believe no more. What they choose to indulge in, all you can do is be grateful that you raised them. But put you guys' opinion in the chat. Do you feel like that might end up changing soon? Like there seems to be so many attacks against freedom of religion, it's not even funny. But do you think they might end up changing it, like where kids have their own rights? Literally a whole separate, maybe a whole separate constitution for kids at this point. Because what does it take? Us having that, something that shows tangible proof that they have rights? Because people don't adhere to that. That's what's being exposed. They just think, well, if I can't use a grown woman, I'm gonna use a kid. If I can't use a grown man, I'm gonna use a young man. That's how the devil look at it. He don't care what age people is. You know, we need to pay attention to that. Like, how does any one of us? They try to make it better by saying, "Oh, this person was busy because they was trying to get in the industry." That's crazy. It don't take much. The industry want to sign you or they don't. So no, we're not too busy for our kids. It shows something whole different when you got time to pray with people at the church, uh listen to their problems, help counsel other couples, help minister to other people's youth and kids, because a lot of churches have youth and children's ministries, and it just don't look good, as we all know. Like then your son end up calling somebody like CPS. He came on camera. This is going viral because he came on camera uh to, I guess, explain to everybody what was going on. Because you know, if your neighbors see you get picked up and arrested and stuff, they wondering what's going on. You got a whole church down the street. Just imagine. So he had his son on this, like, tell these people that you call CPS. Like, bro, we not mad at your son for that. I don't know what you trying to make your son come on camera and he know what he did. That's y'all family personal business. If I was over the church, I would say the same thing. I mean, they can dig in it all they want to, but once again, I would say they had a right to. If you're supporting that pastor, you're supporting that church, you support his children and how he raised his children, which a lot of people don't, but they still come to the church. But they still come to the church and they just go home and judge how they feel like the pastor life is. Like, you know, pastor kids like this and pastor seems to be like this. And it's just like, well, what is your point of going to church if that's all you go to talk about? We suddenly got all these church inspectors out here. We've heard of restaurant inspectors, all kind of other inspectors. Now you got the I would say if they're gonna be church inspectors though, they very much need to know their stuff. Because if you just judging the outside of what people's lives should look like and be, it don't say nowhere in the Bible that the pastor have to have the nicest car, the biggest house, and be doing better than everybody in the church. See, they making people turn away from God over things that ain't even true. It don't say that in the Bible, like that the pastor gotta have the best, better, more blessed than everybody. It actually it actually talks about other people that went through that where God was trying to bless them, but somebody over them, like a higher pastor, a higher priest or king was jealous of them. Like what Jesus went through. They be like they go through that too. Um, but I just feel like that's a whole thing with pastors or any leaders. Like they say the best leaders create better ones. Yeah, the quote sounds good, but put people to the test. Put people to the test. See who they've been around, how they came up. Why didn't they create better leaders? Like, why was they the only one the leader and in the lead the whole time? Like, it don't mean it's the person fault because sometimes you lead the horse to the water. Y'all know how they go, and they don't drink, but you lead them to the water. So sometimes that's the case too. But sometimes it's just people being greedy. Like all these people, imagine all the people. It ain't even funny. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I'm trying to give a scenario or a example. If everybody been coming to your church, they kids came to your church, everybody grew up, everybody came to the church, and everybody end up in jail though. Like everybody literally end up in prison or some mental institute, just scattered out doing bad like that. What happened? Especially if you got proof. Like we started this way. We had a band, we had a choir, we had security, we had the drivers that pick people up if they want to come. We had the area for the children. They had food literally every day after church. Nobody had to worry about if they had food at home. Like what happened? And I'm not blaming anybody. We're talking to society as a whole. I don't know how other temples and religions and stuff work with the black churches. How it was back in the day, it didn't matter if you don't have no money at home. Everybody's eating after church. If you didn't know how you was gonna eat on a Sunday, Tuesday, or Thursday night, you could come to church and eat. That might not be all 7 days, but you for sure, and it's a place you can hear about God. Maybe get a hug, even if people didn't know you. Uh, Somebody asks how you doing, even though people don't care how you doing outside the church. The church is a place you can come, and people used to ask you that. They cared. Uh, oh, your kids don't have no positive influence. We got a children's ministry over here. We got a church basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a school here at our church. The reason people are not so quick to build these type of things anymore because we see the ones standing and how they blowing the tax at them left and right. Cause look, the people panic like, oh my God, this came out about this pastor, this minister. Like, okay, and those things happen sometimes, just like at companies and businesses. Are you gonna keep going, or you just gonna meditate on who got exposed, who almost got the company messed up? Okay, you handle your affairs accordingly, and then usually there's a next person that comes up on the roster if that's your goal to keep that business, organization, whatever it is going, usually have the next person to step up. That's a little more than inheritance because I told people you got inheritance and then you have spiritual inheritance where you didn't even have to be related. This is passed to you through because of what God wants you to do. They didn't have to choose you. Or I'm trying to inspire somebody out there today. This is you will make it TV. They don't have to choose you when God chose you. He's going to equip you with everything, even if it's just enough. That's just the point where he's testing your faith. The Bible says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor his seed beg for bread. It didn't mean that you won't have haters and people that try to sabotage and mess stuff up for you. The word said what it said. If that person is doing what I have called them to do, obedience is better than sacrifice. God said it first. You can sacrifice all you want to try to mess up a person's life. If that person is walking a path of obedience to God Almighty, you're not going to be able to stop them because they got God walking with them. That's all I know. See, I wonder do people, or it might be too soon to talk about it, but I wonder will his son see people's mentality and perceptions on religion or on God himself changes through going through these type of things behind the scenes in the church, especially if you that close to the pastor, like you his stepson, like why would he be lying on you? I don't know, but you got time to help all these other people in the church. You are changing that person's mentality at an early age towards faith, God, what they look at it as. But people have to learn. You don't look at people anyway. Why are you putting them on a higher pedestal than God? That's why you got disappointed. That's why you got hurt. Ain't nothing wrong with the people that understand it. We just quiet. We just quiet. Everybody else got to see that. Like, um, they said, yeah, kids be lying, and it's a young man. So it go back to that conversation too. Imagine how hard it be for young men of all people, of all victims, to try to come out and tell their stories. We used to talk about this a lot on the Crown Publishing Content Channel, not, in the midst of some of our topics. But now we call them relatable and insightful topics and stories. But this is another example of that, and he's publicly doing it. Like, no, we're gonna go live, and you're gonna tell these people that you call CPS on your parents, even though we do a lot for you. Like, bro, that's never helped a parent. If CPS want to take your kid, you going live and saying all of that is not gonna clear it up. We all know that. I hope that pastor man knows that. Like, I don't know if you have a publicity team, sir, media productions company, because some of these pastors do. They have people that record the sermons, the meetings and stuff, whatever you want to call it. They have people that record the whole segment from beginning to end. But it looks like he recorded this at home, and y'all thought, okay, well, this clears it up, or no. Really, I'm not gonna judge the brother, because even when you don't say nothing, they say something is suspenseful about you. When you don't respond at all to large scale allegations like that, they'll still say something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So at least he tried to come forth. My only complaint about their video was uh you could tell that he was more in control of what the child was saying right there on camera. You act like children can't go create them an account too. And yeah, like they can secretly record you too. Like even if you're a pastor, sir. So at the age of 16, I don't know what state they're in. He should be old enough to be able to, because they keep mentioning over and over again that this is just his stepfather. I mean, because really, how you are as a stepfather has nothing to do with that child. You're obviously and apparently just who his mother married. She finds you as a man of God. She finds you honorable. She finds you in love. People make it really hard for the stepkids sometimes. How much power does a parent that's not their parent need? That's the real question here with this story. And it's a great relatable topic question. How much parent, I mean, and it's not a disrespectful question to me. How much power does something like a step parent need? Please, somebody put the answer in the comments or the chat. You mean to tell me they get the power to choose your child's religion now? They get the power to tell your child how they can dress? They get all this power. We understand some authorities because the step parent would be an adult and the child is still a child. So we understand some authorities. But how much power should a step parent? Maybe God is trying to bring that out. Then when the stepchild is trying to speak up, he lying, she lying. Y'all don't know what stepchildren. Let these stepchildren speak up. Stepchildren, as a matter of fact, are not nearly as discussed as some of these other issues of the world. Now, we're not calling stepchildren an issue. We're talking people's reception to them. What you call outside babies, sideline babies, married into the family, babies. Like you wouldn't even know that child if you wasn't with that child's mother or father. How is that not different when you talk family dynamics? That's a different topic because we call them blended families. Both of y'all might have had kids before you joined the relationship. So it's a blended family. So you had two kids, he had two kids, but then y'all came together, got married, and had a baby. And now both of y'all kids is siblings to the new baby. How many families does this happen in today? A lot. But we're not just going to try to paint a picture that because we wanted to live it up like Sodom and Gomorrah, uh, all the stepkids of the world are happy. I don't believe that. I don't believe they were back in the day. I don't believe they are now. So it's been a lot of signs that showed us that certain activities people choose, maybe they should just be illegal. Because when we had it in the Constitution with all these freedoms, look how spoiled everything is beginning to turn. How molded and spoiled it's beginning to turn, literally. Like right now, it's illegal. It's literally illegal to become a pedophile, but people still do it. It's like how much further do they have to go with the law? So, what do y'all think about my idea? There should be a separate constitution, like or an extended version of the constitution that includes rights for children. And it'll be noted that during this day in the 2000s, they ended up having to do this because people became that obsessed with children. So far, they just say all rights apply to citizens, legal citizens. So, of course, to me, that includes children. But it's like people don't uphold it as much. Can a child go search up in the yellow pages how to get a lawyer and fight for their rights? That's what I'm talking about. Bro, they know the day that they make that possible, that's really when a lot of stuff gonna get exposed. Like right now, kids gotta try to sneak around and see who they can talk to. The reason it's like that is maybe because they can't even trust everybody. You run and try to tell your neighbor or somebody else something your mama going through, they don't like your mama anyway. So they start adding to the fuel to the fire. It's too much of that going on. It's bad when they got a hole called CPS or DPS, whatever it's called in your state. Y'all know in different states, it's not called CPS in everybody's state. Um, they need a whole extended version of the Constitution, in my opinion, guys, reserved specifically for the age they consider legal minor. Yeah, just rights for kids because like it's like what they have now is not enough or something. When you make more of an example, like we go further than exposing, now it's examples made. Like, look, this man got, just heightening maybe the securities, the penalties, anything you do that with, people start to watch what they do. They start trying to tiptoe around what they was doing because you done heightened the policy. You've heightened the uh, laws about whatever it is. If you say, okay, now drunk driving, you get up to 25 years if we catch you driving drunk. The day they change that, you're not going to have many people driving drunk no more. Once again, going back to that, why are people getting slapped on the wrist? Mercy, mercy, mercy. I'm not going to question it because God will give anybody mercy. That's what makes his judgment even purer when he go there with people. Because he's already known for being a good God, merciful God, graceful God, when he go there with people. But uh, slap on the wrist for specific crimes over and over and over again. Where it's like, oh, they didn't hurt anybody. If you're a pedophile, how are you not hurting anybody? Because you didn't take their life or whatever. Like, How do you not know going over a certain limit is too much, bro? So now they gotta heighten the laws and stuff for everybody. And parents have to be more on guard. Like, who can I trust? They said some of the daycares are getting shut down because they can't afford to stay open. Right now, today is February 16, 2025. They don't have enough parents bringing kids to keep up with the cost of the facilities. It's not at every facility, but some are feeling these effects already, with child care assistance being a part of the budgets that were cut in the very near recent by our great Mr. President Trump. Certain funding was cut, and now if parents do not pay out of pocket, just like for nursing, but that's for college students, then you're pretty much not going, because they're saying they're not paying for that no more. They're not considering it a professional degree. It is a professional career. It is a professional job when you get there. But as far as student status, I think they're just going to consider it like a undergraduate, or I forgot what it was, like some kind of certification. It will not be considered a professional degree anymore. That's all that means. Uh, so yeah, people have these places they trust because these places have the most access to kids, and they're trained to work with big numbers and groups of kids. And so you trust these places. They'll have signs up that say kids eat free or kids ride free. So why wouldn't you uh, trust your community in a way where kids are okay when they're out there in society every day? In the realistic world, without the fairies and everything, yeah, it'd be a lot going on out here. Just kids trying to walk to school or walk from the school bus or waiting outside for mom until she right in their yard, right in their territory, right in their area. You mean to tell me people it don't cross their mind to cross your boundaries? That's a quote I might have to post later. And it's actually sad. A boundary is a whole line drawn. Like, they'd be like, don't cross boundaries. But it's crossing boundaries cross people's minds. It's weird. It's a whole thing that they think about. Like, who just does stuff out of impulsion? You do it out of intention or you do it out of impulsion, out of impulse. Like, oh, I just did some shit. Or did you do it out of intention? Like you thought about it first. You know, like that. So yeah, the same thing with the pastor in this story. If you're if you did what you did, bro, it's just like you can't make that young man I think a lot of times they say predators cover it up too by like giving them a lot of stuff. Buying them what they want a lot so they can stay quiet. And it be whole kids out here envious of other kids, like, oh, they have more than me, thinking they have a better life, not even knowing why their kid has a better life or seemingly has a better life. Cause that's one thing predators are known to do, right? Like, it might be an easier way to bait a young person, like, hey, I got some candy. Uh, hey, you want to try this? I got a video game. That's what Jeffrey Dahmer was doing, using using access to a video game. Something they know kids like. Mm-mm. Cause with those kind of ministries, they work with other people. I know they work with other people. They usually be available at least if other people need to come talk to them, like, or need advice or prayer. That's what pastors usually do. Sometimes they have a wife or husband, sometimes they don't, or they have children. See, with every profession comes different things they have to watch out for and be careful with too. You're not exempt from just like, oh, people trust me so much. I'm a pastor. I'm gonna be behind the scenes. I don't know. Be like, bro, if you're making your son uncomfortable, you're making your son uncomfortable. Listen to him. I don't know why people blast it all out like that, cause uh that young person still has to grow up. Ooh, sometimes that's like if they do end up finding anything, like, bro, you done already broadcasted it. It's going viral. This man, cause he didn't have to respond at all or make his family come on there and his other son and his mom, they're like, yeah, he's right, bro. All you're proving is they say you're right to everything. That too. Like, let them people talk on their own with somebody. This is my reaction to the video. All of them in the household talk to somebody alone, just them. What's crazy when it's a household, all of their perceptions on the household are going to be different every time, no matter how balanced it seems to be. What are their ages? Are they male? Are they female? Like, it's going to be different. Brothers and sisters have different relationships. Stepfathers, parents, wives, husband, everybody got different relationships out here. But I think they're trained to know what to look for when stuff like that is going on. Really, when I was looking at the young man on the video, he didn't even look 16 though. That's what's crazy. They saying he's either 16 or he's about to be. He's about to be 16 or he already is. And that young man do not look 16 to me. You guys can go check the video out on your own sometime. Uh, tell us what you think in the comments or whatever. He just don't. We're not mocking the young man. We're not bashing the family. He just looked younger. I'm one of those people too. So we're not saying that out of disgust or anything. But how they be knowing these young people want to show their face and all this just to prove a point with you on camera? We living in a day and time like, do we need an extended version of the Constitution for children where it literally has to tell you they have a right whether they want to be on camera or not? We already have certain things, like the Privacy Act, different things in the Constitution. But do we need an extended version for our young males and females that are the future of tomorrow? They cannot say they're not trying to control the future of tomorrow when you're trying to control everything today. They should have people they can talk to that they trust. All kids. This is my opinion. Even if it's not their parents. They like, oh, that automatically means it's toxic. The average person ends up meeting a best friend. That's not even a husband and wife relationship or dating or nothing. Like, you're gonna have friends and buddies and pals. That's absolutely normal. Yes, even in the church, it only starts to look cultish if uh the church is like, I guess, seen to control their person's whole life. I don't know how to explain it to people, but that should be, if it's freedom of religion, why the kids don't get to say so in it? Like, bro, why are you so defensive? He called CPS. Because sometimes that's understandable. Your child might rebel and not agree with wanting to live with the same type of lifestyle that you live. Just because you set rules in place, discipline in place, uh, chore days in play, all of that, you can still have a rebellious child. Like, you're trying to build structure around them, safety around them. Just because you're in a church do not mean your child is going to feel 100% comfortable with you. Uh, Everywhere you go and at home, like, that's the profession you chose to be. They do seem to be trying to force people trying to force people, kids to, like, yeah, you gotta believe what we want you to believe. Like, bro, if they come to church, that's a great thing. But you don't want to run people away from church. And I just feel like I knew that was going on, like, because you can shape a person religion while they're young, how they feel about something at a young age. That stuff follows a person. Like, oh, I don't believe in God now because a godly leader or a godly person did this to me. No, ladies and gentlemen, some of the best of us go through that actually. Uh, just so God can bring it out, because people know better. People know better, especially if you're in a church. Like, how are you shaping a person's opinion and viewpoint on churches altogether if somebody in there abused them? Or how are you shaping their perception on education if somebody at school hurt you? Or how, you make them look at all things in that category the same way. So these topics, they gonna help people though. Even if people don't see it till later, this is crazy. Because it already went viral. People talking about it, they like, we think that kid needs help. They do not care that he's a pastor. On camera, he didn't have any apparent bruises or cuts, or they think that always means something. But it don't. You can still be being harmed in other ways, without physical attributes of abuse. You can fall one time a year, but that one time you fail, you got a big, huge bruise on your leg that's really gonna be there forever. One fall, every fall is different. How did you fall? What did you? I got scars from years ago. No deep bad ones or anything, thank God, but there's definitely ones existing where you're not even clumsy like that, but you definitely have proof of, certain injuries, even if you were clumsy. Like, what happened? You could scrape yourself, cut yourself cooking. What was you doing? Burn yourself in the kitchen? So who, I said two things. We need an extended constitution for the children of the nation, if that's possible, and we also need those little pamphlet books I was referencing to. They would be helpful. Uh, Maybe I should bring my ideas though. I know who to talk to. These seem to be needed. They already make the identification cards for the kids. In case you have missing kids, you can show the police their card and it give them their picture and everything. And make a copy for your keys, your wallet, and you can have one for all the kids in case something happens. I swear I forgot the name of the program. I think it's called Safety something. They make these little cards for the children. And it's just crazy because they do go missing or you can't find them for a little while. At least you have that. You're not trying to pull out information at the last minute. They've been having it since the 90s. When they take our photos at school, they ask your parents, "Do you want one of these?" You just keep it in your wallet, and they print them. You get a whole sheet of them, for all your kids. Like, it's called a safety missing person thing. Like, it's a card where I think it even had a fingerprint on it back in the day. Very helpful. So I'm saying we got to add to this, like a little pocketbook of other resources of phone numbers they have at all times, even if they cell phone go dead, because you can always ask to use somebody else's phone. Back in the day, we had to use phone books anyway, them little address books. If you didn't have one of those, you lost people phone numbers. That's just how it was. But guys, world, we've come a long way. Now we can just save the contacts in our devices. You had to either memorize people number. I'm still like that today if I choose to. Like, I can remember a person number for years. Cause back then you had to remember it or have it wrote down all the time. You had to get your friend phone number in school and write it down for real. You couldn't save it in your phone. and call them when you get home to the house phone. You call your friend. Wasn't no cell phones. Uh, Cause I don't know, like even though they pastor kids, you can't tell these dads and stuff how to what to do with their children. But uh, I just feel like he should let them have more of a say so in their lives, especially in the choice of whether they want to be like spiritual or religious or like follow him in that way. Maybe they want to be more in teen boy activities, which you do try to keep them out of trouble and on the best path that you want them, you know. Cause now look, he's on video trying to explain himself, and you trying to run a church. Mm-mm. You get better with any thing you practice and work on, even if you're not making money at that exact time. A real hustler knows that you can teach yourself a skill, a talent, a trade, or you can just learn one in 6 weeks or 6 months or a year. Everything, you don't have to go to college. They got schools where you done in a year, bro. To become a paramedic, I think you said it only take a year. Just so you know, to work on an ambulance, you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, you just work on an ambulance. They make a lot of money. Right. You know they do a lot. They do a lot, but they not doctors. Their job is just to get you up there. That's it. Whether it's a baby, a old person, a kid, a teen, that's all their job is to get you to the hospital. Like, and I swear, you only need 1 year of school. The last I checked, yeah, at this one place, you could be done in a year. To become a paramedic, I think you definitely have to have your CPR. What's crazy, I do have that. I have at least that, but it's many levels. I know I would probably have to get a few more, but I do have one. Oh, you got to learn a lot of stuff. How to give shots, how to, but you're still not a doctor or a nurse. It seemed easy, right? Your stomach have to be able to handle blood in lots of situations. They teach you how to stop the bleeding, Morgan, till they get up there to the hospital. You learn how to do all of that when you're being trained. I'm like, how did they teach you all that in 1 year? You hear me? I bet that kind of school is interesting, even if you don't. So your job is to get a job when you finish the school. You hear me? Like, oh, okay, you finished paramedic school. Now go on Google, look up paramedic jobs, apply. Boom, you go through their training. You already went to school. You're like, oh, you working for this company. Now you go through their training. Now you're on the ambulances. That's how it happened. Those are real heroes. Thank you, paramedics of the world. They're real heroes. Like eventually